It's good to see you all here today. It's a great turnout and a great support for the town of North Haven and for Quinnipiac University. It's good to be back here. 2023, a new year, and it's time for our State of the Town address with our First Selectman, Mike Frieda. I'm Ray Andrewson. I'm the Executive Director of the Quinnipiac Chamber of Commerce. We're the affiliate chamber of the Greater New Haven Chamber of Commerce, and we're very happy to be here in North Haven, one of our two towns with the Quinnipiac Chamber that we are so entrenched in and like to support. It's good to see a lot of friends here in the room here today. So it's been a tough couple of years, but things are getting better. We have reason for optimism, and we have reason here in North Haven for optimism too. So I'll have a wonderful presentation from our First Selectman, Mike Frieda. He'll present to you a slideshow, site selection, other businesses here in town to walk you through our community so you know more about what's going on. We'll hear from our president, Quinnipiac University, Dr. Judy Olian, who will be our welcoming presence here this morning for our event. And we're moving in through the 21st century now, which means we're getting down to business. I'd like to bring up one of our supporters of this event. As always, they do a terrific job here for the town of North Haven and beyond. I'd like to bring up Jeffrey D'Onofrio. I saw him earlier today. There he is. And he'll have welcoming remarks, one of our sponsors of the event. Jeff.
Thanks, Ray. How you doing? We chose North Haven for our business 27 years ago, and there's a lot of things about North Haven that haven't changed in a good way. North Haven has been a big supporter of local businesses. North Haven has been a safe place to do business. North Haven has had in town hall through multiple administrations just a really great team. And I think a lot of, as I travel around Connecticut, a lot of the things that North Haven does well get taken for granted. I really do. And I think when you look at dissatisfaction around the country with the role of government, Mike and his team have continued to do a remarkable job in North Haven. And Mike takes his job very seriously. He's, after 13 years now, as focused and as relentless and as committed to a fault to the businesses and the people of North Haven. He's got a tremendous amount of compassion and empathy for people. He really genuinely cares about people. I don't know how he does it on a daily basis, because I think as time has gone by, people take him for granted in terms of his availability and his willingness to help with all sorts of problems. But as a business owner in North Haven, it really gives me great comfort to know that Mike is in charge. And at a time when there's a lot of uncertainty, whether it be the economy, whether it be COVID still being around, having that type of stability and dependability and reliability out of a chief elected official is something that I know I don't take for granted, and I know that the folks that are here this morning really care about North Haven. And I thank you for that, and it's my pleasure to be able to support this event again. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you so much. Also, we have another event sponsor who could not be here today, Brian Havens from the North Haven Funeral Home. He sends greetings to our First Selectman and to the Quinnipiac University community and the greater business community as well. We'd like to thank a few of our sponsors, the event sponsors this morning: Ulbrich Stainless Steels and Special Metals, TD Bank, Camco. Also, our premier partner is Ulbrich Stainless Steels and Special Metals on Washington Avenue is their international corporate headquarters, as you know. And thanks to our star supporters, Rome, Inframetals, and Nucor Steel, Connecticut. And also a hearty thanks to our corporate sponsors who are so committed to our business community here today. You see their names, watch the slides, their names are going by. Big thanks too to our business partners here helping the chamber. And let's give them a round of applause. And I see her there. I'd like her to stand up. It's time to recognize from our board of directors our president, Tara Knapp from Gaylord Specialty Healthcare. Tara. We have a lot of North Haven officials here. We'd like to particularly talk about our schools, Public Works, Parks and Recs Department. There's so many places, North Haven Library. Our police and fire officials, too, who keep us very safe here in North Haven. Thank you so much for what you do for us. And I'd like to right now bring up our president and CEO of the Quinnipiac Chamber of Commerce, the Greater New Haven Chamber of Commerce, Garrett Sheehan. Garrett.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's great seeing everyone today. So excited about the work we've been able to do at the Quinnipiac Chamber of Commerce over the last year, and as we look forward into 2023, the partnership with Greater New Haven Chamber is as strong as ever. We have so many activities that we're going to have for you this year around economic development, workforce development, inclusive growth, including a procurement program that we're putting together, and our small business efforts. And I really want to focus on workforce development because to be here on the Quinnipiac campus, it's always a great opportunity when we talk about the strengths of our region. It really is the universities that we have that separate us from so many other regions across the country and make us so strong. The partnership with Quinnipiac University is very strong between both chambers. Mike Frieda, we're really excited to hear from you. Also partnerships that we have with our municipalities, and North Haven stands at the top of that list. Mike's focused on economic development. He's focused on the things that we talk about. And he wants to find partnerships with the Quinnipiac Chamber, and so we have a lot of those opportunities. I'm really excited to welcome up Judy Olean. She's the president of Quinnipiac University. And what I can say about Judy is the work that she's done over the last 5 years, coming up on 5 years, if you can believe that, has really changed the face of education here. As you can imagine, especially with the pandemic, but even before that, education has been changing. That's how we're talking about workforce. There's so many different things that need to happen, whether it's degree programs, micro-credentialing, things like that. Quinnipiac University is at the forefront of that. So if you have employees who need upskilling, other opportunities, definitely look towards Quinnipiac. They've been working through that. They also have expansions going on their campus. We're really excited to see the expansion approved at the Hamden campus, and including a new business school that will be coming up. So that's just another one of the changes. But I think most importantly, it's about partnerships with Quinnipiac University. They would not have been able to get approved this new development plan if it weren't for better partnerships with the local community. We wouldn't be standing here if it's not for good partnerships with elected officials like Mike Frieda, and then especially partnerships with business. So I really encourage businesses to engage with the university. Hartford Healthcare just in the last couple of years announced a major new agreement. There are many other employers that are working closely with Quinnipiac to address their workforce needs, and all of those go into our overall economic development engine and how we continue to grow the region. So again, thank you to Quinnipiac University. Judy, come on up, and we really appreciate you having us here today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Morning, everyone. I'm delighted to see our friends, our partners, our neighbors here. And this is going to be a bit of a love fest for Mike Frieda here. Thank you, Garrett, for all of that advertisement and really showcasing what is happening in terms of the collaboration that is across all of the region with Hamden, with New Haven, with North Haven. And we appreciate all the support that is enabling the developments, the exciting developments that are happening at Quinnipiac. So we are actually celebrating another year of growth under our fantastic First Selectman, Mike Frieda. We're really blessed to partner and be present here in North Haven. This is the home of our graduate schools, health sciences, nursing, medicine, law, and education. And I encourage you to wander around. It's a really gorgeous campus. And we're very, very fortunate to be located here in such a vibrant community of North Haven that nurtures families, K through 12, businesses, a bold vision. And this has been just such a hospitable environment in which our partnership has flourished. We are well aligned, North Haven and Quinnipiac. We think of ourselves as bold and nimble and future-oriented, and I can't say enough about the bold and nimble and agile vision of Mike and his team all across North Haven. I don't know how he does it, and the previous speaker has alluded to this. He's a 7-term first selectman. I think the longest serving selectman in North Haven in a century. And you know, I know the votes are not rigged, but you could think that there might be. That last time he had 85% of the vote. The time before he ran unchallenged in 2017, 85% of the votes. I mean, anyone in public office would just, I mean, he's the envy of all of us, but it's not magical how Mike does it. It starts out with that passion for people, and he'll show up on any doorstep that may need him, not to mention be a tireless advocate for all of the important developments that the community needs, from the state, from businesses. It is really through dogged focus, a bold vision, hard work, and compassion and empathy and true authentic caring. You don't fake it, and Mike does that all. But he's also accomplished some very tangible, important things for the town. North Haven, under Mike and his team's leadership, recently achieved a straight AAA bond rating for the 5th time, which is the highest bond rating that any municipality can achieve. He secures all kinds of grants from the state. I just saw something come across where you all got $300,000 or so from the Small Town Economic Assistance Program. But what's it for? It's for playscapes and the bandshell on the town green. It's those kinds of things, one step at a time, that make a difference in residents' lives. Mike's the CEO of only 24 of all of the municipalities in Connecticut to earn the best practices in land use and economic development nomenclature from the Connecticut Economic Association. And of course, Mike attracted Amazon, Kevin is here, to North Haven. But in the last count, I just checked with Kevin this morning, that is 5,200 jobs in North Haven, not to mention the tax dollars and the opportunities that come to all kinds of families and our students from that. And as a partner with the town of North Haven, we've sought additional ways in which we can expand our relationship with the community. Under our VP, Bethany Zemba, we launched Bobcat Stride, and you can do that this morning if you like. And that's a course indoors for our senior citizens. If they want to have a mile round trip, they just do 4 circles in this facility and get their walks in. It was so popular that we expanded it to a summer program and to an outdoor program. It's called Bobcat Stride. We have a lot of bobcats at Quinnipiac. The university also is proud, really proud, to have contributed funding toward the construction of a brand new track at Vaneker Field. We love healthy activities for our young people, and we are really delighted to make sure that our young people have a track at North Haven, at the North Haven Public School, for kids to really get healthy and become cross-country athletes. We're also funding 2 academic scholarships for first-time students who are New Haven residents to come to Quinnipiac. Our law school offers a legal clinic. Our PT department, our physical therapy department, offers a PT clinic for residents of North Haven and the surrounding regions. We are really proud of this rich and growing partnership where we find all kinds of new ways to benefit North Haven, to benefit our students and the well-being in the broadest sense of the word. We are stronger, Quinnipiac University, because North Haven is such a strong and supportive partner, and because it makes us a more accessible and outstanding institution because of what North Haven has enabled us. And I also hope that North Haven and the region are stronger because of our presence here, because of our faculty and staffs and students presence in this town, because of the services we offer, and because of the business opportunities that come from our presence here, from the work we do, from the talent pipeline we create, from all of the construction that Sal Filardi is leading here, so that it is a win-win. So, alongside every resident and every business in North Haven, we too are so admiring of Mike, appreciative of Mike and the team he's created, the results that he has achieved, and the continuing deep collaboration that we have here with QU. And we look forward to many growing opportunities to work together for the benefit of North Haven's residents and North Haven's businesses. And it's now my privilege to introduce the fantastic selectman, first selectman of North Haven, the great Mike Frieda.
Doing this, I just want to thank our sponsors. Jeff, thank you for the very nice comments. Brian Havens, he's not here, but he does so much for the community. Thank you, Raymond, for putting this together, you and Gary. And Judy, thank you very much. You know, Quinnipiac University is so important to us in North Haven. And I've gotten calls over the last 10 years. Mike, can you share with us how you've established such a wonderful town and gown relationship? And what I learned with that was that doesn't always exist in many cities and towns. Quinnipiac University is part of the state of North Haven's address. Judy mentioned some of the things that Quinnipiac University has done here in North Haven, but there's so much more down through the years. Building playscapes at elementary schools to help our children. One in particular at Ridge Road, a handicap accessible playscape for children who were visually impaired, who had no other source of recreation. When we look at our fire department, Quinnipiac University helped underwrite a large portion of our fire training facility in North Haven, continuing to give back to North Haven. But then there's all of the subtle things that have gone on behind the scenes. Quinnipiac students helping in the fall rake and clean up veterans' homes who have no other resources to pick up leaves and help pick up shrubbery. Quinnipiac students in the past have helped with blood drives. Quinnipiac students have helped senior citizens with doing their tax returns. Quinnipiac University is part of the fabric of the town of North Haven. And I am so delighted, so humbled, and so proud to have such an outstanding relationship with Quinnipiac's president, Judy Oley. And we work very closely together. Judy, myself, Bethany Zemba, myself, Sal Filardi is always there for us, the entire faculty and the staff and the administrators. They support us greatly. So I thank you very much. Judy, Bethany, Sal, everybody at Quinnipiac University. Gina, thank you very, very much. So let's take a look at the rest of the story. What's happening in the town of North Haven, the business side of North Haven. Because I view government similarly to how I viewed my role as CEO of my companies. Government is a business in the sense that it provides services. Our customers are our citizens of North Haven. Our clients are our businesses. Our citizens consume services. They pay taxes for those services. That, in my view, is the business aspect of government. Government has an obligation, and that obligation is to continue to reinvest in infrastructure across all different departments, And those infrastructure issues or items may be things like road paving. Every year we pave 10 to 12 miles of roadways. You can't have a community, can't have a city or town with continued deterioration of infrastructure. And this also costs a lot of money to do every year. Parks and playgrounds. I mentioned how Quinnipiac University has been such an integral part of that in helping us improve that infrastructure. But we continue to be on a mission to do more for infrastructure, parks and playgrounds, and upgrading those facilities for our children and parents, because we want a community that's desirous for our citizens and their families to live in. Town buildings. Town Hall, as an example, was built in 1886. We have a lot of buildings that have aged out. We have put money into buildings and new projects. Years ago, Governor Malloy and I worked closely together to put a handicap accessible elevator in the back of Town Hall. We have built a new police department, built a new middle school. We continue to reinvest in terms of maintaining the buildings. And I'll get into that a little bit later, some of the challenges with that. From a fiscal standpoint, thank you, Judy, for mentioning that we once again were approved as a AAA rated community. And I have to share with you, that's not easy to accomplish. That was a very grueling rating call. And whoever in any other municipality that handles that call, in this case, I handled it, and I have every year, you have to be on your game. Yep, when you step on that field with some of the smartest financial people in the United States, you have to be on your game. So we're very grateful that we achieved the AAA rated status. And in an environment where interest rates are rising, that becomes even more critical, where we can borrow at the lowest possible rates. It was interesting to me this past 18 months that some people will say government causes inflation, and yet local government is faced with inflation, much like every other consumer and every other business. When we look at the inflation rate this past year of 8.7%, well, our inflation in our town of North Haven, our government, was not 8.7%, but I calculated it about 3%. And 3% on $116 million budget, that's about $3 billion plus of costs that maybe we hadn't anticipated. Everything we do, the price has gone up. We outsource a lot of work. Paving is an example. We would spend $2 million a year on paving. This year we bonded for $2.6 million because of the inflationary aspect of the cost of oil and how that relates to asphalt. Every aspect of what we do, cost is going up. Building maintenance, the contractors, their costs are going up. We, as a government, are actually a consumer. And our outside people, contractors who do work for us, are passing the cost along to us, the incremental cost to our government. So we've had to contend with that. That's been a challenge. Fuel, utilities, outside contracted work, paving and maintenance, price increases on all of that have affected us, and we're no different than anyone else. So I can sympathize with every business here and what you've gone through. One of the key components to offsetting rising costs is grand list growth. This particular year, I would classify it as good growth, not great. I had hoped for more, but the way grand lists work, we have to get everything in by October 1st for the following fiscal year, or the following year. So a lot of projects that are in the pipeline have not matured yet. They will mature after this past October 1st this year. But the reality of this is still 1.4% in municipal government is considered pretty good. But it's not good enough for Mike Frieden. I'm not satisfied. We've got to get better, and we will get better. So this yields $1,363,000 in net incremental tax revenue. And that's how I look at it. Some of my counterparts, when we talk about grand list growth, will say, well, Mike, we grew the grand list 40 million. I never say that, because it presents a false narrative, not intentionally. The people think, well, you have $40 million more in revenue. No, that's the aggregate assessed growth. The net revenue is what I always quote. In this case, $1,363,000. So let's take a look at what fuels grand list growth. And the business aspect of government is economic development, and every single project in town I have a hand in and I'm involved with. Every single project. So from an economic development standpoint, once again, I'd like to classify what we're doing. I'm going to show you a lot of slides here in terms of challenges, opportunities, and successes. Because we're never perfect. No matter how hard we strive to be perfect, it's an elusive goal. And sometimes it becomes a little bit discouraging because I want to do more. I want to get more done. I'm not satisfied. I'm still driven in this respect. And that's a problem that I'm faced with because I'm never satisfied. So let's take a look at some of the successes. I'd like to start with this. I put this out on LinkedIn and about 17,000 impressions they almost went viral. This story here is the story of a owner of a bakery in Westchester County who I've spent a lot of time with. And I learned another lesson, because I learn things every day, no matter how long I've been in government. And what I learned was from this gentleman, Peter Ardolino. He said, you know, Mr. Frieda, I've been in New York, in Westchester County, all my life. We grew up in the Bronx. Our business has been in Westchester County. We never met the mayor once. We never even met anyone from the Economic Development Commission. You're the only chief elected official that spent so much time with me. We're coming to North Haven. So they purchased 50 Devine Street. This is a bakery, a manufacturing facility that supplies major retailers all over the country, including restaurants. They're going to be making such a huge capital investment in North Haven. They'll create 100 jobs. This will be one of the gas company's largest users. This is the type of business this is. And the owner and I are working on a concept that will include a retail store in the front side of the bakery where people could go in and purchase products. Building has been purchased, and there's a series of meetings I've already had with the owner and a series of meetings that we're going to continue to have. The next meeting, I'm bringing in the president of Avangrid, who I work very closely with, who also oversees the gas company, because this will be a new consumer for him. So this will be something we will continue to be speaking about. A&M Bronx Bakery at 50 Devine Street. Here was a situation years ago where, after 13 years or so, I can pick up the phone and call anybody now. Anybody across the state. I have relationships with the retailers, the property owners, the commercial real estate agents, and that's a nice feeling. Here was an example where this young entrepreneur called me and wanted to know if I could help him find space. Well, immediately I thought of Rich Como, who had some space down at Saca Point Road and State Street, and we made the connection. 12% brewery went in, and I'm happy to announce that they just expanded with additional space to expand that brewery there, and that's been a great success. This project here, the Hampton Inn, is one of the longest standing projects I've been involved with that hasn't come to fruition yet. And the reason is COVID crippled the hospitality industry. Vacancy rates in hotels were high. Banks weren't lending money. I have relationships with bankers I tried to put in front of the owners. Banks wouldn't lend money, but I'm happy to report that the owners have put $4 million into this so far. This, ladies and gentlemen, is in the process of happening. When Panera Bread got out of the Inline Plaza on Universal Drive, we worked with them to stay in North Haven, and this is the progress right now on Universal Drive next to the Chick-fil-A. So this, I hope, will be opening in the late summer. We were able to attract a national sensation, Crumble Cookies. It's a small store on Universal Drive, but it has a tremendous following, ladies and gentlemen. People love this facility. It's expensive, but people enjoy going in there. And that is on the Home Depot side of Universal Drive. Metro Mattress, a new business that has gone into Universal Drive. This is an example of part of the strategy that I've tried to bring forward in North Haven. focus in on a myriad of economic development concepts, whether they may be manufacturers, in this case, retailers, restaurants. I'll get into that in a moment. I think we have a slide here on one of the new restaurants we opened up last year. So we look at the categories, whether it's hospitality, restaurants, manufacturing, filling vacant buildings, in an effort to continue to offer a variety of different amenities to our citizens and our businesses. This 80,000 square foot retailer, we opened this up last year. This filled 80,000 square feet of vacant space. What happens in government, folks, is that there's a lot we cannot control. And one of those things we can't control is national bankruptcies. So when a sports authority goes out of business nationally, or a Toys R Us or a Babies R Us goes out nationally, we locally are left to pick up the pieces. And picking up the pieces is a metaphor for the empty spaces that exist when they vacate those buildings. So we're worked for 18 months on this. This was a sensation in Manchester, the second store in Connecticut. Only 2 in Connecticut, and they chose North Haven as their second store. This was another example. Ruby Tuesdays went out of business. We were stuck with a vacancy. I worked with this company because when I was in Massachusetts working there before I took office, this was a very popular Mexican restaurant there. So we recruited them, they came in, and they've been very successful on Universal Drive. I mentioned Sports Authority. It's difficult to replace a 50,000 square foot retailer with another 50,000 square foot retailer. But as you all know, with the emergence and the growing need for even more healthcare amenities, we have a good relationship with Hartford Hospital. I know some of the surgeons very well, and they were involved with expansion. So we were able to have them go to Universal Drive and fill 40 out of the 50,000 square feet there, and now they're expanding out, and they'll have the whole facility there, so that's a good thing. This is something here, a brand new health club in town. And coming out of COVID, people are going back into gyms, so they want to work out, and that's something I do every day. For those that know me very well, I train, ladies and gentlemen, every day, physically, like I'm playing in the Olympics. That's how I treat it. I am focused on outstanding health, because I think that in my position, not just me, anybody in this job, you have to have the energy level, because it's 24/7, you're on the go every day, every night, including the weekends. Many times people will say, hey, Mike, or Mr. Frieda, we need new and unique things in North Haven. Can you bring in something new and unique? So this happens to be a business that was very successful in Trumbull. Met with Igor, who's the owner, worked with Alan Fredrickson, and I worked very closely with him to bring him in. This is in the Stop and Shop Plaza, and what this is, ladies and gentlemen, is it appeals to demographics from age 7 to age 90. And if anyone here wanted to take a tour of Italy, or go to Spain or France, you can do that in this virtual reality facility. We look to have schools on field trips go here, because the children could take a tour of the galaxy. You could take a trip to the moon. You can visit the stars virtually. This is something that has an education component, has a traveling component, and if I wanted to go in there and fight Mike Tyson, I can do that, because they offered that also. So I may have to try that out to see how I do. So it's something new and unique, and so far it's catching on very nicely. We had this, people say, why are you bringing a car wash in? Well, it fills an empty building. So they wanted to come in, and what we're getting here is a high-quality service. So this has become a very nice little business here. Over here, this was a dilapidated facility for years. We started with the Starbucks. We met with Five Guys, and for years, people would say, particularly the teenagers, Mr. Frieda, can you get a Five Guys? We don't want to go to Meriden anymore. So we finally convinced them to come, and in addition now, this Haven hot chicken, folks. This is a sensation in Orange and New Haven. People love it. So that's going to be opening up very shortly there. And that's next to the CVS on Washington Avenue. This was a problem site for years. The parking is not really good enough to attract, or was not good enough to attract the businesses that we wanted there. We tried to get there. But Namco, Pool, Porch, and Patio looked at it. They said we can live with the existing spaces, so we're able to fill an empty building there with what was once a national retailer, which is now a very solid regional retailer after having gone through an acquisition. One of the things that sometimes gets lost in economic development is that there is a great need for housing. Garrett mentioned about workforce development. Garrett, I just want to let you know, I'll be happy to work with you on that. Recently, I've been named chairman of the Greater New Haven Workforce Alliance Board, so we place a great emphasis on workforce development. But part of that is housing. The state, I work very closely at the state level, also on a variety of commissions I sit on, including some that I chair. And housing is a big issue. All of us have had to put an affordable housing plan together. Housing is part of an economic development package. A good portion of our grand list growth has been these unfinished projects. So first of all, on the east side of Washington Avenue, where Fantasia once was, those owners aged out. They wanted to get out of the business. I introduced them to Connex. We sat in the closed Fantasia. A deal was made right there that day. Connex is expanding southbound. They are keeping their existing facility, creating what you see here, and in the back there'll be 88 apartments. Hey Robin, how are you? Good to see you, Robin. 88 apartments in the back. So that will be a significant development once it's finished. Here's an example of a property that was dilapidated for decades. I had worked with the owners here. I worked with this developer very closely. And this is what you see right now. The emergence started with steel coming out of the ground. The emergence of this. This is 225 apartments with an affordable housing component on the front building, which is 75 apartments in 3 different buildings. On the front side, there'll be retail, perhaps a restaurant and a store on the front side of the building on Washington Avenue when this is completed. So this is a major development project that I've spent a lot of time on here in town. The BMW Mercedes car dealership, next to that dealership was a stretch of empty gravel parking lot for years. So here's an example of an expansion of existing business. And we want our businesses to expand and grow. In this particular case, this will be a pre-owned certified car dealership, and that building there is 15,000 square feet, which will be a Sprint van service company that will work with other businesses in town. And you see, I know Kevin's here from Amazon. They have their own vans. The Sprint van service will aid and abet any businesses that may need additional help on delivery. So it's a good thing that we have. A new restaurant in town, Island Chow. This opened up last fall, and I'm hoping that they are doing very well. I think the restaurant industry is faced with help in terms of employee help. And people who go out and spend their consumable dollars don't want to go to a restaurant where the service is poor. But help is a big issue in the restaurant industry. But we're delighted to have this new, different type of restaurant here in town. So let's take a look at challenges. There's always challenges. And the tides always crash against the rocks of reality in terms of challenges. This is a problem right now. It's a problem because it's a wonderful restaurant. The owners aged out. They were tired of the business, much like Rustic Oak years ago. So when they age out and they decide to get out, we're left with a vacant building. We have to try to find a solution for this. This is a significant challenge in an older district in town, the Mono East District. And this challenge is exacerbated by the fact that we have this problem. Now, I'm happy to say that we think we have a solution for this, but this has been a problem for multiple reasons. There were remediation issues, which we worked closely with the then owner. Those issues were cleaned up. But because it's a fork on two state roads, Route 17 and Route 103, that it's limited in terms of what we can do there. I had a Subway that wanted to go there. We had a Dunkin' Donuts that wanted to go there. We even had a Starbucks that wanted to go there. But the problem is, by state traffic standards, you have to be able to have a 14-car queue backup from a panel where you order to go. You don't have the space there. We don't have the space there. So, but we're looking at a mini-mart store format that I think can satisfy the parking restrictions there. This is another problem, and then again, this is a problem in the same area. Now keep in mind now, if you can visualize that area, the Asian restaurant is out. I just showed you the problem that we're hoping to solve. This now is a problem. And this is a problem, and this is something that government can't control. So I'm gonna give you to use a baseball analogy, some inside baseball here. Rite Aid is still paying this owner $7,000 a month for the next few years. There's no motivation for the owner to do anything because they're still paying money to this property. So I've talked to the owners here, and a lot of times in local government, you have to be a force to create momentum. You can't sit back. So we are trying to put ideas in front of this owner. I brought other real estate agents in to see if we can get a Dollar General store there, or some type of a retailer there to fill that space. It's 14,000 square feet. So that has been and is a tremendous challenge, and I'm hoping that the next time I'm up here, I have a solution for you on that. This is another example, the south side of the Stop and Shop Plaza. Well, all that empty space, folks, is space that rent is being paid. So the motivation sometimes doesn't exist to create opportunities. And this is something that I'm working on currently and trying to put force and momentum into play to try to get something done here. So that is a challenge. This has been a challenge for years. Now I have to tell you something. I have a game changer that wants to go there. It's a retailer everybody wants. I'm not going to say it. But space is a problem. Space is a problem because the setbacks off the state road are not enough to have it safe for a major retailer to go there from a traffic standpoint. Now the fairgrounds has been a great partner. We're working closely with them to see how much space we can get going eastbound. This is work in progress. The developer I'm working with is a national developer who's built plazas all over the country, who's someone that I'm very close with in terms of trying to get things done. And that's why they're interested in coming to North Haven. So this is to be determined. And the reason that building is standing, just so you know, because we could have that taken down, but this building represents a symbol of grandfathering in a zoning law. If that building were to be taken down, it would improve the site, but what it would do is remove the previous type of business that was there. So this retailer that we have is not that type of a business. So if this falls through this major retailer, then I think we'll see that come down and we'll see something less significant there. So keep me in your thoughts on this, that we can work this out. Amazon's been a great partner to work with. Kevin's here, his staff is here. These guys are great. They do a lot for the community also. They're the largest employer in town, the largest taxpayer in town. You know, we talk on a regular basis, Kevin and I, Kevin Wicks. We have opened up the back road, Valley Service Road. Kevin's been very gracious enough to try to help us redirect some traffic off of Washington Avenue. That road, we paved that road. But there's two opportunities, both on the south side of the Amazon driveway and the north side. The south side is more of a challenge, And I'm hoping very soon I'll have an announcement on the north side of Amazon's driveway. So as I come to a close here, and we look at successes and we look at challenges, in between the two pillars of success or successes and challenges, in between those two pillars lies what I see to be a vast oasis of opportunities. And that's what I'm focusing on, the oasis of opportunities and working on a parallel path to solve the problems and challenges we have, and we have many. And I can guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, that when we look at opportunities, this is another good example. I had hoped to be able to make this announcement today, but I'm still on a confidentiality agreement. This will be a national retailer that everybody loves. That's what's going in this 24,000 square feet. And I'm hoping to make an announcement very soon on that. 336 State Street, this is a new business that still represents an opportunity. There's a lot of space that we're looking to have leased out there in the back and on the side of that virtual golf facility called Golf Cove. 57 Dodge Avenue, great opportunities. Moses Singer is the owner of this. He and I work very closely together along with that commercial real estate agent, Lynn Ann Weed. Here, we now have what we would call an incubator, an office filled with office space for incubators. People that come in, they have an office, they have a conference room, there's a little gym in here. This has been totally retrofitted, and I have an HVAC company that I brought in from West Haven to show this along with a real estate agent, and we have an electrical contracting company that wants to go there also. So we're looking to have that fully populated. I mentioned the North Haven, or the north side of Amazon. That, I think you're going to see a beautiful retail plaza there. In conclusion, there's a bright future ahead. 10 years ago, it was 8 to 10 years ago, at a public meeting, I used a metaphor. So I'm going to pull that metaphor back from the past and present it to you today. I'd like you to envision North Haven as a lighthouse that's built on a strong structural foundation. But around that lighthouse, there are dark and turbulent waters that are always going to be crashing against that foundation. During the day, that lighthouse will be standing tall. Unlike me, it will be standing tall. And it will be a lot of clouds, and there'll be some sunshine. At night, there'll be a lot of stormy weather. But that lighthouse, the town of North Haven, will continue to illuminate with a bright and shining light through the dark and turbulent waters. And inside that lighthouse, you will see Mike Frieda navigating those storms. For as long as I'm in this position, I will be in that lighthouse helping North Haven navigate through the stormy weather, shining a bright and illuminating light through what sometimes can be, and don't get discouraged, because I don't, some dark and turbulent waters. The future is very, very bright, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. That's wonderful. I'm going to keep that lighthouse image with me for quite some time. That's beautiful and brilliant. Well, that's about all we have to tell you today. As far as North Haven is concerned, Mike is a very accessible friend of Quinnipiac University and the North Haven community, our business community, and the wider community, and we thank you all for being with us. Before we depart for the day, just a couple of reminders. The Quinnipiac Chamber would love to engage with you. If you're not a member, consider membership with our chamber. We work on your behalf. We are very serious and we are very intent to work with you individually to make your businesses shine and flourish. And we have great partners in North Haven and beyond to do that. Well, thank you, Dr. Olean, Judy Olean, for welcoming us here today, and everybody at Quinnipiac University. Thank you, Mike Frieda, and for all your comments and what you do for us here today. Our couple events, we have podcasts, we have networking events coming up. Our Women in Networking event will be coming up on March 8th, and that'll be at Rose Vineyards in North Brantford. International Women's Day. Come join us from 6 to 9 for networking on that Wednesday night. We will have the business after hours at Experiment Reality, so you can see the stars virtually on March 23rd. And here at Quinnipiac University on April 4th, mark this on your calendar, a whole day where we're dedicating to manufacturing, engineering, and technology with a big career fair. We'll have countless scores of booths at the Hamden campus from 3 to 6, and of course an event that morning. We all want you to come out for that. So go to quincham.com for more details. Thanks for coming. Have a beautiful day.